Hello, hello, and welcome to At Home with Lucas. So today we're going to be talking about Amazfit Band 5. Yes, people, this is a super budget-friendly fitness tracker, and if you follow this channel, you know that I'm getting into the fitness tracker game. But in this video, we're going to be figuring out, is this too cheap? $32. Can you actually make a good fitness tracker for that price? We won't know until the very end of this video. So in this video, we're going to be doing a hands-on with the box, quick unboxing and first impressions on said fitness tracker. After that, I'm going to be putting this to the At Home with Lucas test to figure out, is this something you should buy or maybe skip altogether? I'm here for you, so you don't have to waste your time buying and returning. All right, let's go ahead and jump into it.
All right, let's take a look at this bad boy right quick. So up at the top left, you have their cool little logo. You got the name of the company, Amazfit. There's an image of what's to come in the box. This is the Amazfit Band 5. It has a blood oxygen saturation measurement sensor. Woo! All right, you have the heart rate and stress monitor. Wow, that's incredible for such a cheap fitness band. That is wild. And then you have some health stuff right here. The PAI, very cool. Take a look at the side over cha. Ooh, yes, voice assistant built in. All right, so you can go swimming with this. 15-day battery life. That is bananas, people. HD color display. That is what's up. I'm hoping this puts the Fitbit Inspire 2 to shame. I'm hoping. All right, you can sleep with this bad boy right on. Let's crack this thing open and take a look inside. So it has an easy pull tab. Ooh, very, very fancy. Whoa, okay. Am I supposed to open it this way? All right, so there is the watch. Wow, it looks like everything is tucked in very nicely. There is the cable. I don't know if it's going to be USB-C or not. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, it's their proprietary cable. Boo! I can't wait till everything is USB-C. It's going to make life so much easier. All right. This is... Wow, that is very thick. What is this, the Bible? What is this? Wow, look at that. All right, pause it if you want to read it. All right, let's take a closer look at this. So it's a two-prong system right here. It's rounded, which is very, very strange. And then, of course, that's just standard USB. Feels like a slightly cheap cable, but it's got that soft touch grip, which is kind of nice. So I'll give it a A-OK. All right, let's take a look at the creme de la creme, people. Woo! Look at that guy. Okay. So as I'm looking at it, I'm already noticing where it's cheaper than a Fitbit. So the Band, I haven't even really touched this thing, and I can already tell just by looking right here and right there, that's where you're starting to see it's a little bit cheaper than a Fitbit. Let's go ahead and walk around it. So that looks like it's possibly the home button or the main function button. Let me see. Yeah, that's probably the home button. I'm holding it down. I don't think anything's happening. Nope. So this thing is completely Deadsville. All right, so let's walk around this thing. At the bottom, it looks like you have all of those sensors that they talked about. That's where the charger goes in. That's very strange. Let me see how this works. Yeah, that's a little bit clunky, and it's very interesting. A complete departure from Fitbit. Fitbit just takes up the entire back of the Inspire 2. This one is a little bit the magnet's a little bit light, so it feels like you could easily bump it and not even know it, and then go to bed and then wake up with a dead bit. Okay, let's look at the display for as much as we can see right now. So it looks like it's quite large. It's taking up a good chunk of the front of this fitness tracker, so that's really cool. It doesn't look like this pops out of here like a Fitbit. No, it is not going to just pop out. You're going to have to do some kind of maneuvering. So the back right here feels like it's possibly trying to mimic metal, but it's probably just a plastic. It looks like there might be a reset button right there. The back looks decent. This is of course going to start to jab into your wrist because it's raised up, so your wrist is going to settle, and that's going to just make an indent into your wrist, and that may become very annoying over time, or it could just be very simple and not cause any harm at all. The front is made out of this like piano black gloss, which looks really cool, but the way that it tapers over the edge then stops, it looks like there's a whole slot missing around this thing where the band kind of locks into place. So let's go ahead and pop this band off. There we go. That's interesting. Okay. Ooh, I like that sound. Very wow. Okay, so this band is it's kind of grippy and a little bit, it feels like it'll get sticky really easily. So it doesn't have that like premium soft touch Fitbit feel. Fitbit has really stepped up their game lately, and the feel of their bands are phenomenal, and this one just feels like an older Fitbit, we'll say. Ooh, I like how they have their name on there. Good job, Amazfit. Wow, very cool. But yeah, this band just feels like it feels like it'll work, but it's not going to give you that like comfort feel on your wrist, kind of like a Fitbit. Now, of course, I am actually using a third-party band on my Fitbit Sense right here, so I am not one to talk, but these kind of feel very similar on to the touch. So this is what I was talking about earlier. You could kind of see how it kind of has to stress right there just to kind of flex around, and that's where it's a little bit cheaper than a Fitbit. Of course, it doesn't even have a traditional band, so you can't like pop it off and then put a new one on. You're gonna have to take this entire thing off. Yeah, there you go. So I'll take that off later. I'm not gonna take it off right now, but that looks like where it could get weak, and this could start to rip right around there. This is actually very lightweight. I just realized it does not feel heavy at all. I wish this would turn on. Typically these things come with some juice, but this one is not juiced up at all. Also, I'm noticing that this band is actually backwards. So mine has all the holes on the front, and then the outer part wraps around without any holes. This one has no holes on the front, and then it brings this back. Maybe that's because of the way it locks in. That is really interesting. Yeah, I think it's the way that it locks. No, this is backwards. This is completely backwards. That is really funny. All right, here we go. The maiden voyage. Let's get this on my wrist. See how easy it is. Okay, that actually wasn't that difficult. Once I figured out you kind of have to grab this and open it and shove this part in. Once I figured that out, it was actually really easy. I've just never used a band like this one. Yeah, this is where it's backwards to someone who wants to put this on their right wrist. Now, I'm guessing, hold on. I just realized something. I wonder... Yeah, you can turn... Okay, I'm taking this off now. I said I was going to take it off later. I'm taking this off now. Okay. There we go. Now it's normal. All right. Okay, so let's just... Now that... Ooh, this is very, very lightweight. Wow, that is extremely lightweight. And like I said a minute ago, this is what I was talking about. This is where it's kind of cheap. They kind of made it so that the band is a main part of this bit right here. So yeah, that's where they're kind of cheaping out a little bit. It's kind of like two pieces are sandwiched together right here, making it very easy probably to pull that apart and work on it and whatnot. But there's a closer look at all the sensors on the back, and then the charging pads right here. And then let's take a look at the watch without it. Yeah, so you can see this is just a little bit cheaper than I would have liked to see, but of course for the price you cannot complain. This is unbelievable that it's even this good for the price. So I am definitely nitpicking the heck out of this, but that's because I just got off of a Fitbit Inspire 2, so I know what Fitbit is like. Okay, so there we go. Now, this is how I've always put on a watch. You have the holes towards you and then this part on the outside. So let's try this one more time. Oh yeah, that is so much easier. But this band is definitely one size fits all. I can imagine if you have a giant wrist, this thing is gonna work. If you have a small wrist, actually no, this one might not work if you have a giant wrist. My wrist is actually really small and I only have, giant wrist, it'll work. Tiny wrist, it'll work. Look at this. My wrist is very small, by the way. Okay, so a little size comparison between the Fitbit Sense and the Amazfit 5. All right. So it feels good on the wrist, but you can definitely feel that this is that cheap rubber that's gripping my hair and it's kind of pulling it out. This rubber over here is a little bit better, actually. It doesn't pull on the hair, and I can feel it right around this area. It's kind of tugging. I may have to loosen it up a little bit, but other than that, it does not feel bad at all. It's nice and lightweight. It really has a simple feel, and I almost like it a little bit more than the Fitbit Inspire 2. I like this sort of two-tone look right here where the black kind of sandwiches into the orange and then you have the black at the bottom. It just breaks it up a little bit. Yeah, so definitely feels good. It feels like it's not going to move a lot. This band is actually really grippy, so it's gripping my arm quite aggressively, so it's not going to move around, but it definitely will loosen up over time, and I may have to go up one more notch. All right, let's remove it and see how easy it comes off. Yeah, so once again, the grippiness of it being not super soft touch, it wants to grip everything. This is like a Spider-Man watch band. It definitely is super, super grippy. Okay, so first impressions, this is good for the money. I haven't even turned it on, and I have to say the band, the fitness tracker, everything about it right now, it's good. I paid $32 for this thing, and I'm happy with my purchase so far. Now, of course, it's all gonna come down to this display and how well this thing actually functions as a fitness tracker. Hey, what's up guys? I want to talk about a sponsor that I have for this channel, Don Pablo Coffee. Yes, people, Don Pablo makes an amazing variety of coffee. I actually went down to Miami, Florida and modeled for his bourbon infused coffee. Yes, people, they have bourbon infused coffee. This is coffee for the people who don't even like to drink coffee. This is coffee for people who love to drink coffee but are bored of the normal coffees. They have single serve bourbon infused coffee. They have whole bean bourbon infused coffee, not to mention all the other varieties they have. They are a small batch coffee roaster. Now you're probably thinking, what does that mean? What does it mean? I'm gonna tell you, a small batch means you're gonna get a fresher bean. Yes, people, everything they roast is roasted smaller, which means you're getting a fresher batch. All the other companies roast in ginormous roasting contraptions, and that means you're getting it less of a fresh batch. So click the link down below, go buy some amazing coffee, and let's get back to the video.
Okay, for some reason they changed the app to Zepp, Z-E-P-P, not Amazfit. I don't know why. It is very strange, but in the app stores, you're going to find it under Zepp. So once you do find it and download it, it looks like this. And I have to say, this thing is packed full of a little bit of everything. It is like the one-stop shop for everything you need to adjust and change your Amazfit Band 5. Totally blown away. I'm going to give this a solid 4.8 star rating. It is just packed full of so much useful information, settings, adjustments. Really, really cool. Big thumbs. Okay, so once you do click on Band 5, here are all the different ways you can adjust and change the settings. Really, really packed full of so much useful adjustments and tweaks for your band. It's really cool. You can really get it custom to you. I'm someone who doesn't really like to take phone calls on my watch. I don't like to get notifications, so I can easily just come in here, turn all that stuff off. So this is an added bonus. You get a good app with the band.
Okay, just finished a full day with this on my right arm and my Fitbit Sense on my left arm. So the step count on this is 6,685 and the step count on this 5,752. So kind of comparable, but here's where it gets weird. The calorie count is that right there. And then when I go to this watch and I go into the status, that's my calorie burn, I think. I have no clue. That is so low, it doesn't make any sense at all. One thing I did notice was my heart rate was quite high on this versus my regular go-to Fitbit Sense. I trust this heart rate very, very much because I've been at the hospital and I actually was on one of their heart rate monitors, and then I looked at my wrist and I said, oh, it's the exact same. So one fun thing you can do is go to a CVS or something and do your blood pressure and get your heart rate, and you'll find out if your fitness tracker is accurate or not. So you can actually take this to any Walgreens or CVS, get your blood pressure, check out the heart rate as you're doing that, and then compare it to your fitness tracker. But yeah, first day comfort, not bad. It was not bad. I thought it was going to be a lot worse. This didn't really dig into my arm as much as I thought, and I'm definitely liking it. It's kind of growing. It's growing on my wrist, and it's not super uncomfortable. So day one, thumbs up. The step count is decent. I'm sure I did a little bit more movements with my right arm, which is more dominant, which is why the step count's a little bit higher. I'll have to look into the calorie count on this to figure out if I've missed something. Yeah, and I also switched it to this watch face, which is pretty cool. I like it. One thing I don't like is how small that text is. It's unreal how small that text is. Wow.
Okay, so I'm definitely impressed with the accelerometer on this thing. It does its job. I'm going to give it a 4.5 out of 5 stars. Sometimes it will glitch up and not fully go to black on the screen, so when you flip it back over, it kind of gets a little bit wonky, but nonetheless, it is pretty accurate, and of course, that display looks absolutely amazing. The viewing angles are redonkulous, people. Absolutely amazing. Big thumbs up for that. So here we go. We're just going to flip it over a couple more times. Yeah, it's not as responsive as the Fitbit Inspire 2. I remember that thing being butter smooth. This one is almost there.
All right, I am fully suited up and ready to go for a run. I got my band strapped onto my wrist. I'm going to be setting it for outdoor running mode, and I'm hoping that I can glance down and take a look at where I'm at in terms of mileage, calorie burn, all that fun stuff. I'm hoping I can just glance and then keep on running without having to do much fiddling with it. And obviously I'm going to be comparing it to my Fitbit Sense right here, which is on my left wrist. So I'm going to be doing an active comparison the entire run. I'll be looking at my left wrist, looking at my right wrist, and getting a good comparison on how well this thing actually tracks and how well it does all of its measurements. So this is going to be very important for the entire rest of the review. This will tell us a heck of a lot. All right, let's get into it.
Okay, I'm at the halfway point. I could barely read this screen. It is so small. The text is not the greatest quality either. So big thumbs down for being able to read the screen while you're running. And it's a very cloudy day too.
All right, just finished a great run. This thing is almost impossible to look at while running. There's just so much text on the screen and it's so tiny. I cannot believe they designed it this way. They need to completely overhaul the running text. It needs to be 1 calorie, tap it, and then go into mileage, tap it, go into whatever else. Absolutely terrible. Cannot believe
that that's what they designed for this watch. The responsiveness of flipping it up to look at it, really good. I like it. It does a good job. The accelerometer in there works its butt off. It felt very comfortable on the wrist while I was running. The only thing I noticed is it is a little bit thick. It's definitely a thicker watch. There you go. So it kind of flings a little bit forward and backward while you're running, but not much at all. After a while, I didn't even notice it was there. Okay, let's talk about the stats. So the stats were actually pretty comparable to my Fitbit Sense. The calorie burn was just a little bit different, but the time running, the miles running, it gives you a lot of other things. It gives you like cadence and whatnot. Yeah, I was pretty impressed. Pretty similar, comparable to the Fitbit Sense. Yeah, it passed the run test in terms of all the ability to sense and monitor, but it failed the display test. So I'm going to give it a 1 thumbs up out of 2. I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5 stars for running. Yee.
Okay, we're going to be doing a 6-4-5 Beachbody workout. I'm going to be doing cardio. This is really going to put this band to the test. I have it set on freestyle workout mode. I'm not sure exactly what that is, but that was the option I have on the band right now, ready to go. So we're going to be testing this thing for accuracy, comparing it to my Fitbit Sense, of course, to figure out, does this thing count the calories and count the time and do everything correctly and give a good amount of information. I got it nice and tightly secured on the wrist. As they tell you every single time, they say make sure it is completely tight on the wrist, because I think this heart rate monitor is not as good as some of the other ones out there. I think it needs to be a little bit snug and tight onto the wrist to give a good performance. But nonetheless, it is on there and we are good to go.
You know you've done a big, powerful workout when you completely fog up your own windows.
Holy bejesus, people, I am sweating bullets. I am not kidding. This is probably the most I've ever sweat indoors in my entire life. Wow. But this fitness band did its job. I'm going to give it a 4.5 out of 5 star rating. I'm going to say it's not the best fitness band, but it does its job. So you know you could take this thing to the gym, you could do an at-home workout and whatnot. I like the fact that I could look at it and see my calorie burn. I could see my heart rate, and it showed my heart rate in the levels that I wanted it to be. So it showed like when my heart rate was low, it was in a different color, and then as it went up, it changed colors and it changed what it actually told me. So that was kind of nice. Also, it showed me the time lapse, so that was really cool. I only had one moment where it started to slip down on my wrist. That was a little bit annoying, but that only happened like once, so no big deal. It's pretty lightweight and it grips on nice, so you don't really notice it. Even with so much sweat, I still do not really even notice it. So definitely passed it. Big thumbs up. Yeah, it's cool.
Okay, so I've been using this band long enough that I think I have a full comprehensive review, and I have to say this thing is actually way better than I thought it would be going into it. I was convinced that this was just another fitness tracker that doesn't have everything it needs to be a full-fledged fitness tracker, and of course you have to compare it to the big guy out there, which is the Fitbit Inspire 2. So this whole review, I was comparing this to what I learned from the Fitbit Inspire 2, and I have to say this thing is a definite runner-up to a Fitbit. So if you're looking for a budget-friendly fitness tracker, this is the one. This is the top of the line. This is the best second to Fitbit that I've ever seen. I am pretty impressed with the monitoring it has in the back. Very, very solid monitoring. You're going to get your calorie burn, you're going to get your heart rate, all that stuff is in there. And the fact that you can customize this thing so much through the app, through the inside settings, is really, really cool. But the biggest downfall is actually the UI. So the way that they have this thing set up, it's more designed for squinting and looking really, really close than it is for anything else. Like if you are trying to read that battery percentage right there from this distance. This is probably about maybe 1.5 feet from the camera. You cannot read that. You can read the time, you can barely read the date up at the top. You definitely cannot read your calorie and step burn at the bottom. So that's where they kind of get very confused, and that's all across the board with all of their text. Their text is just way too small. I like that they're trying to put a lot of information on the screen. The screen is extremely vivid. The viewing angles are really, really good, but they just don't understand like normal people and how they view things. And I'm gonna give the UI a 3 out of 5 stars and say that that's pretty much where this thing starts to fall apart, is just the way that it's set up, which can be fixed with a redesign, an overhaul. I like how these are a little bit more bold and just straight in your face, but once you of course click into it, you're going to start to notice that the text is very, very small. Once again, you click into more, and here you go. It doesn't take up the entire screen. Like, it doesn't make sense. That D&D should take up the entire screen. They just need to retouch all of the text and just reorganize it, and it'll be so much better. Because like I said, if you hold it just a little bit from your face, it just starts to blend and disappear, and then you have to hit the little tiny arrow up here to set your stuff. It's just, everything is just so small and tiny, and it just really doesn't work well. It's something that I think they could update really easily. But like I said, this thing is packed full of so many different settings. You of course have your band display, so you can come in here and you can switch your display clock, which is really cool. But you can also see in here, all the clocks are just off. Everything is so small. It's like they think that this display is the size of a smartphone. Like, they think that this is a smartphone and you're going to be looking at a 7-inch display. So they're packing way too much on there. I applaud them for doing a lot, but it's just, it ends up not working in the end. And like I said, this thing has so many different settings and things you can go into. That's the biggest downfall. It doesn't have anything to do with the sensors. It doesn't have anything to do with the step count and fitness tracker, but that's where it gets really rough. And then the other thing is the fact that half of this Fitbit, or this fitness tracker, is this grippy, gooey sort of rubber that really gets caught in your shirt, like I talked about earlier, and it really becomes a problem. It's like there's no reason that this should be grippy. This should be hard plastic, and that's its simple fix for this band. They can make this hard plastic and still have it snap in and out like they do, but because this thing is so thick, and then it's rubber here, and then this front is not super rounded, it's kind of flat, so it creates a really annoying thing for your sleeve. So if you're someone like me that wears flannels, or you have dress shirts on, this thing is not going to work for you. You're going to want to skip it altogether. But like I said, for the price, I'm going to say that this thing is very, very solid, and I would recommend it to anyone out there. If you're trying to get into the fitness world and you don't want to spend a whole bunch of money on a Fitbit, buy this one knowing that you're probably going to get annoyed by a handful of things about it, and maybe in a year's time you'll upgrade to an actual Fitbit Inspire 2 or Inspire 3 at that point, and you'll definitely want to go onto there. The band also is a little bit annoying. I found it to be kind of aggravating. When you would go to put it on, you would tighten it on this side, and then you'd have to pull it this way, which would cause this to loosen and then your hold to go up. So it was very annoying. I never really figured out how to get it to sit right and get it locked onto my arm. And that's another thing, the sensors in here work the best when it's really flush and pushed into your skin. So they're good sensors, they're just not as good as Fitbit. Fitbit has sensors that just sort of deal with being a little bit loose, whereas this does not want to be loose at all. And in fact, every time you start a workout, it's going to tell you that you need to tighten your band. So let's talk about the workout. So Definitely not a lot of options to choose from. I, of course, remove some from here. I don't do any sort of like indoor running or Stairmaster or anything like that. So I remove some of those. You can add those back through the app. The app is packed full of so many different settings and options and whatnot. But I found this to be lacking. There's no just normal workout mode. You have to click on freestyle right there, and it does its job, gets the job done. Let's talk about the home button. So the home button is a little bit annoying as well because it's so small. It's just such a tiny little home button right there. And you just push it with your thumb, and I really like the way the Inspire has the buttons on the side. There's just something very natural about pinching this thing and not natural about hitting a home button, which once again, I wonder if they think this is a smartphone and not a fitness tracker. So I think they could really do an overhaul with the user interface on here. I think Fitbit is not as good as it could be as well. So I'm not a fan of Fitbit's user interface. I think Fitbit's is a little bit annoying as well. The speed in which this works is phenomenal. Look how fast this is. That is super snappy and really amazing. So it has a fast processor in here. It has a phenomenal touchscreen. The colors are really nice, vivid colors. And when it turns off, it's completely black. It's super, yeah, it has the ability to go completely black. So I think the look of it is really cool. I think the band could be overhauled and tooled a little bit. I think the user interface could use an overhaul and you know, a little fix, and it would be 100%. So I would give this a 5 out of 5 star for budget fitness tracker. I think that it's the best budget non-Fitbit fitness tracker on the market right now. I'm going to give it a solid 4.8 star rating, and I'm going to say I would recommend this to anyone out there. Buy it because it's going to do the job. There's so many little things that it has that's different than Fitbit, and it really gives you a lot more like customization and ability to do a lot more. So it's basically saying, okay, Fitbit does 10 things, we're gonna do 100 things. This thing does so much. It's unbelievable. I really haven't even touched with all of the little features that it has, but of course I touched with enough to give this full review. But yeah, so went into this thinking, oh, this is just another cheap fitness tracker. This thing's not going to perform like I would want it to, and I have to say I'm blown away. I think it performs great, and the battery life is phenomenal, unbelievable really. Where are we at? We're at 64%. I've done many different workouts with this. I've had it out running, and it's still at 64%, and I've only charged it once since I started this review a couple weeks ago. So you're looking at a device with a battery life that's unreal. So solid star rating, recommended to anyone out there. I like it, but I don't love it. I want it to be better. I know it can be better.
All right, there you go. That's the Amazfit Band 5. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, definitely clickety-clack that like button. And if you want to join the At Home Lucas family and you want to be a part of this crew, hit that subscribe button. Every time I get a subscriber, I get a boost to make more and more videos. And it's because of you guys, I surpassed 3K. Yes, people, on my way to 4K, but I need your help. Yes, you right there. Tell your friends, tell your family, this guy's on YouTube. They should go subscribe and watch my channel. But as always, I thank you for watching each and every one of my videos, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.